morning, and quite interesting stories they're putting on the front pages. The Nation newspaper with the first headline. Above the masthead, we have Tinubu, Sanwo-Olu, Lord First Bank on new headquarters takeoff. Lagos approves certificate to begin construction. And then you see the picture here, all of the dignitaries that attended. The vice president was on our soil yesterday. When I say our soil, I mean Eco Atlantic. Received dignitaries yesterday, for the inauguration or for the groundbreaking ceremony of First Bank, which will be the tallest building in Nigeria.
Interesting. It goes to show that it seems since we moved in, that spurred a lot of persons to look in this direction to say, what?
So we are magnetizing.
We encourage others, to do same, follow suit, of course. So it would be good to see the tallest building on this soil. When you're driving in, you see it will be beautiful.
That's right. It makes you feel good when you're coming into
Yeah, and I think they are trying to live up to their slogan that they've used for so many years. They are big, they are strong, and they are reliable. Such a headquarters will just put physical expression to that.
Absolutely, to that slogan. Right. So moving on to Leadership newspaper is next. Similar. First Bank's head office demonstration of Nigeria's economic strength, vitality. That's President Tinubu, ably represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima. You can see the image here on the front page of the newspaper and the model of what the building is going to look like. Next is the Nigerian Tribune with a similar headline, groundbreaking of new headquarters, Tinubu Lord's First Bank management's foresight, achievements. Sanwo-Olu okays certificates of approval for construction. Interesting developments. The newspapers seem to be very united on this. Tinubu lays foundation for First Bank, for the Punch newspaper, which is next. Tinubu lays foundation for First Bank's new eco-friendly headquarters. And I think the interesting there is that it's not just going to be the regular building, it's going to be eco-friendly. Talk about adoption of renewable energy. We just talked about energy efficiency in Nigeria during our banter segment. Yes, we need to also source for alternative, energy for Nigeria to grow individually and also company-wise. Absolutely.
Taking into cognizance the ecosystem is crucial when you look at climate change and every other issues around it.
Yeah.
So if we are now beginning to adopt eco-friendly approach to development, even in governance and all of it, what we call ESG,
that's right.
It's critical. And so it's a good one to see that that's the step these people are taking. And I hope that other organizations will adopt that as well. ESG is the way that most organizations are looking at right now. And so it's good to see that this is what they are adopting.
Etoma.
Oh, yes. But for a building that's going to be that tall, that big, that huge, and all that, you need to be sure of your source of power. So going that route is not only eco-friendly, it's also very sensible, and
cost-effective.
It's cost-effective in the long run. It's cost-effective, so it's a good decision.
Especially when you have to pay for everything on the Eco Atlantic, city. Yeah, because we pay for everything. We pay for water, pay for electricity, pay for virtually everything.
But that's what happens in other developed countries. Absolutely. You pay for everything. So if we are moving in that direction, be ready for it.
More of our good things don't come cheap.
Right, interesting. On the bottom strip, still on the front page of Punch newspaper. Okay, right here on the nameplate, we have Assembly lists 4 breaches by Fubara, threatens Austek. Chair's arrest. Government insists on Supreme Court judgment. That's according to CTC. The last has not been heard for River State, especially with the executive legislative row, and then the judiciary sitting like, okay, don't worry, you guys are going to come to me after we've made a certain ruling or pronouncement. Yes,
when those two arms of government are fighting, the judiciary will just wait. At the end of the day, everybody will rush down to the judiciary. But in River State, we're about to hear a whole lot of stories coming from that state, because the political situation right now is really volatile.
That's right.
You now have a governor that has a hostile House of Assembly. How will the people fare? That has always been my concern, because when 2 elephants fight, is the grass that suffers.
I would not necessarily call them as hostile. I will not use that term, but I would think that they are feeling that right now we need to put pressure on the governor to do what is right, because the courts have said this is what you did was not right, and so we want you to do this right now. Pressure. It is putting pressure. But then we are seeing some groups agitating, saying that if you are going to impeach the governor, then be ready to see that the state will not be peaceful for anyone to stay in. And like he rightly pointed out, it's the people that are the end of the stick who are bearing the brunt right now. What's the dividends of democracy that they have enjoyed so far in that state? Because it has always been from one issue to the other as one government comes in. So it's a sad one, really.
But regardless, whatever is needed to be done should be done, regardless of whatever outcome. But the people should be at the heart of it all.
Absolutely.
Yes. So we're still going to talk about it for the subsequent papers. But we have on the bottom strip, sexual harassment. Senate dismisses Natasha's petition. Kogi Senator Sean's panel. Well, I think we're going to get that on the front page of another newspaper. The Guardian newspaper is next. Quite interesting development. Similar story. First Bank takes first shot at Nigeria's Manhattan. Manhattan commences 44-story edifice. Interesting, groundbreaking development. Next is this Nigerian newspaper. Sexual harassment. Dead on arrival. Senate throws out Natasha's sensational allegation, sensational quote-unquote, allegation against Senate President Akpabio. Says presentation violates rule book. Veronica, we've been monitoring developments, from the Senate, National Assembly generally, because it looks like everyone is talking about it. And then we've gotten reactions, from the Senator Natasha Akpoti, and the Senate President also made his own speech, like, no, listen, I didn't do anything of sort. It's a house matter.
Right, but Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan is saying, let's deal with this matter. I do not like how this newspaper couched it. Even if the word sensational was used, you do not also extend by sensationalizing it.
No, but it's quote-unquote. It's quote-unquote. I don't think he's done any wrong, because
now this is my opinion. Now this is my opinion. I'm saying you do not have to put it out there as such, because at the end of the day, it's seeming like we are sensationalizing everything. The crux of the matter hasn't been dealt with so far. On the floor of the Senate, she said that the case before the court is the matter of cyberbullying and not the fact that you sexually harassed me. And so I want you to deal with this matter on the floor. And there are those who are saying perhaps the Senate President should have stepped aside to say, you know what, you guys investigate this matter, deal with it. But as we see it now, they have thrown it out. But I believe that she would look, she's a lawyer, she might want to look for other means of addressing this matter, because what the House or the Senate is saying is that the case is before the court. But she tried to explain to them that they are two different things.
Absolutely. But then, Etoma, she was not even there, for the investigation, when the Senate committee on this matter came together. She wasn't there, and they said, listen, based on Senate Order 40, subsection 4, it is not proper for her to have taken, for her to have signed a petition individually against a fellow senator.
Yes, the argument I heard is that that provision in their rule book is for senators to put petitions on behalf of their constituents, not on behalf of self.
That's right.
And that's the argument they had. When I saw the video that when she was going to drop the petition, I told myself, I said, this thing will be crushed. It will be crushed, and it did. They did exactly what I thought they would do. For me, Natasha has the burden of getting Nigerians and whoever to know and believe that she did not accuse him falsely. I guess that is why she is pushing and pushing. Now it's like she has to keep her reputation. She has to take care of herself. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because of our time, let me quickly just touch on this. NAFDAC discovers rifles, seized 50 trucks of fake drugs in Onitsha markets. Interesting. This is so sad. 2 killed, 6 injured as Lagos building under construction collapses. I hope we meet this same story on the front page of Daily Trust newspaper. Funtua battles TY Danjuma others over 9 mobile. Security beefed up at hotel where ex-CG Paradang was found dead. Hippo attacks, Gombe farmers keep vigil on farms. The banner headline, alleged sexual harassment, Senate dismisses Natasha's petition against Akpabio. After Supreme Court judgments, Rivers to hold fresh local government polls August the 9th. Dismissed immigration officer nabbed over attempt to sell arms to bandits. Woman accused of killing co-wife in Bauchi. This is some of the sad stories we're seeing here. Nigerian News Direct is next to be reviewed. Federal government approves 10.3 billion naira for diabetes kits, HIV drugs after USAID suspension. Approves 79 billion for 13 road contracts, etc. Veronica, I think we are beginning to wake up. Just very quickly for you to share some thoughts on this.
What is that exactly?
So the front page of the Nigerian newspaper, where federal government approves 10.3 billion naira for diabetes kits, HIV drugs after USAID suspension.
Yeah, we've been talking about some of these issues on health for some time now, and it's seeming like since USAID suspension, we've decided to close the gap and address those issues. So it's a good one.
Absolutely. So we continue to monitor trends. But then, lastly, we have Sporting Life. Lookman faces ban in Italy over yellow card offences. Maguire, Ugarte out. Also, West Ham keen on Abraham. Leicester regrets letting Bassi leave. Interesting newspapers. Stories on the front pages of the newspapers this morning. And we believe that we've done our best to make Nigerians up to date, absolutely up to date with what the newspapers are saying, so they can grab
copies now
to further educate themselves. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
That's about it for the newspaper review on the TVC Breakfast Show. All other segments continues. Thank you.